Well, I just got home from work, and if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I've been kind of waiting all day to give my take on the Count Dankula conviction. And I really didn't want to be just another person spamming out a video for those delicious YouTube pennies. And so I wanted to try and do something a little bit different. As the day went on and the verdict came out, and then they ended up delaying his sentencing another 30 days, I thought to myself, first of all, damn, for all of America's problems at times, the First Amendment is pretty good. And if you don't know who Count Dankula is, it seems really unlikely. I'm not even going to go through that. Of course you know who he is. He was convicted today of grossly offensive acts that are absurd. Apparently, to say to yourself, what is the most uncute thing I could think of, and then make your dog like Hitler, is a bad thing. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not from the UK, but I'm friends with a few people in that area, and so I know I got learnt a little bit on how things work there. But I asked him. Fortunately, I do have a direct line to him. I asked him if how I could help out, and and how they were doing, and I think they're doing about as good as can be expected. I think it's easy to forget that while this free speech stance, this battle for free speech in the UK, it's larger than life. And because of that, sometimes it's hard to remember that, at the tail end of this is just a harmless, cute little edgy boy and his girl, Sue, and their dog. And I think what gets lost in everybody shooting their response videos and putting their spicy hot takes out there, not that they're not good and not that they're not totally in their right to do that. I thought to myself, there's a lot of money being made reporting news that has been reported, then been reported again, then been reported again. Meanwhile, Dankula and Sue are in their apartment or their place, kind of still with their life completely up in the air. And I asked him if he would allow me to start a GoFundMe, because I'm here in the United States and I don't really know how else to help other than flying over there and playing some magic with them. If you don't know, I owe a lot to Count Dankula. When I was going through my battle in the Magic the Gathering community, when I was accused of sexually harassing or harassing a cosplayer unjustly, I didn't really know how to do good videos. I still don't really know how. And without me asking, he put together a video that entirely debunked this narrative of me as some sort of evil harasser. And even though it didn't prevent me from getting a lifetime ban in Magic the Gathering, a game we both love, it did, at least for the tens of thousands of, or more than 100,000 people that watched that video, vindicate me. And I'm eternally, forever thankful to him for that. His possible attendance at Kilroy was one of the main reasons I even cared to go. And I'm perhaps a little too nice, a little too emotionally attached because of that. But, I looked at a lot of people getting a lot of clicks and a lot of subscribers, just like I'm doing. And I wanted to try and convey my emotional reaction and give people some tangible way to help out. Keep an eye out for any protests that may be going on that you're able to attend. I know the Liberalists are doing something. I'll leave their link. They have a Facebook event going. I'm not what you would call a liberalist. That's one gathering that I know about. I'm going to leave the address to the sheriff courthouse for you to write. And I think it's important to both write and email, but also put the letter in an envelope and put a couple stamps on it and mail it. I'm also going to leave a link to their complaints, their online complaint form. And an easy way to what I want to do is overwhelm them with people outraged by this, to at least possibly tip the scales in the favor. Look, if whether or not he appeals, I will support him there. If the conviction, if he just accepts the sentence, and who could blame him for just wanting to move on with his life, I will support him there too. But maybe we can cause enough disturbance with these places to make them second guess putting him in jail. That's what I want to prevent. Is pragmatic the word for it? I'm a practical guy. I'm just a regular guy. I look at things from a practical standpoint when I can. And look, I can't overturn this conviction. I can't run for Congress and change anything. But if we together can work with one another to try and keep the guy out of jail and keep that little pug's dad around and not gone for a little while, I think that's a realistic goal. The legislation, things like that need to change, but if you take the time to write an email, here's a very simple thing you can do. Write your formal complaint to the Scotland Judiciary. I'll leave a link to that. And then just print it out and put it in the mail and sign it. Imagine them getting hundreds or thousands or even tens of thousands of letters. In the time it will take you to write a polite objection, don't send anything crazy because they'll use that against him. But if you politely, let them know that you're against this sort of thing, I mean, somebody has to answer those emails. Somebody has to read those letters. And that's why the actual physical letter, which I will be sending tomorrow, it's an international stamp. That's it. It's like $1. No big deal. Certainly people from the UK area would probably have a greater impact. But I still think if we can bury them in letters, just like the Santa Claus's letters in court kind of thing, it will help a practical, regular guy or gal kind of be overwhelmed by the outrage. Because we can all be outraged online and on Twitter and on Facebook, but the fact of the matter is, I doubt these people involved in legislation or the judge or things like that, these people aren't on Twitter. They're not looking for hashtags to be trending. They don't give a fuck about that. If they get 20,000 letters delivered to their door, that's something that they can put their hands on and feel as real dissent. If you're able to put your body in a peaceful protest over there, that would be extraordinarily helpful too, because it provides like a real world, tangible dissent. Twitter memes are great, and Dank's Discord is one of the best, and they're great to laugh at, but the internet has a really short memory. And if we don't take the time to rally behind him, if you like him as a man, I came across him with his the Joy of Dankening Bob Ross meme a long time ago before we never knew each other, and he was a fan of my Unsleeved Media Magic the Gathering channel, and so we got to know each other that way. And he's one of the most genuine people I've ever met. And if not for this YouTube game, I would never have known him. I want people to try and keep some perspective and think about what we as individuals can do, and also to remember that he's just one guy, and I think he's holding it together better than anyone, way better than I could. I would be a wreck. This has to be commended. And what he doesn't need is 100,000 people asking him about the sentence and things like that. If you're going to send anything to him, just say thanks for standing up. He could have let this go and took his sentence, but he's fought for a bigger picture than just what we are. So I have a lot of respect for the edgy boy in that way. And I also because I want to help out, I sent him some money via PayPal. You don't have to do this. He said on a stream that, they're not going broke or anything, but money is an important tool when you're fighting a legal battle. And, again, thinking about this pragmatically or logically, if the absolute unthinkable happens in 30 days, Sue's going to need money to help pay the bills. And I also signed up as a patron. I had to recreate a fake Patreon account so I could actually back him since I'm banned off Patreon. But, that money is going to be important if he's unable to work for a couple of months or something like that. So if you want to make a real difference, the power of the individual is considering, backing him on Patreon, sending him a few bucks via PayPal if that's what you want to do. But something that's free that anyone can do is send an email, or if you have the money for an international stamp, to send that. And that's, I think, all we can do as individuals. But we together, I think our voices can be heard. And I want to say thank you to Count and Sue for really fighting a fight that they didn't ask for. And I think that should be not lost in the greater picture of all this. We have to remember that these are just regular folks. And I salute you guys. I'm pulling for you, and I'm doing the best I can to lend a helping hand wherever I can. Good luck, everyone.